Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, this is Michael.
This is Cleve.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of
Friendship Supreme.
Or the podcast that dares to ask, does Kevin Smith come up with movies just so his daughter can play in things?
It's not fair to just blame him for that, though, because Will Smith does it too.
Well, yeah, no, we can go down the path of like different. Johnny Depp.
I thought about how this whole segment should just star on movies that were bought for their parents. But the only one that came to mind was
The Smiths.
After Earth.
All the Smiths. Karate Kid was not great.
But it held.
I feel like Willow was in one recently, or was like in one within the last 10 years. It was terrible.
I believe you.
Oh no, Willow was the one that. Oh no, Jaden was in Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then also in After Earth.
Yeah. But Karate Kid I could tolerate. Karate Kid I could watch again and be okay.
After Earth. Of Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan does help. And they did not karate. But
I don't think I ever actually saw it. So.
Yeah, it was a different martial arts. It wasn't karate.
Oh, okay.
Kung Fu, maybe?
Alright.
Which is odd that it was Karate Kid. But anyway, I guess Kung Fu Kid doesn't get that same recognition that Karate Kid would. But, yeah, After Earth...
Even Will Smith knows it was bad.
Yeah. He has to, right? That's a very expensive birthday gift.
But I feel like this is not the first film that... So real quick... after our idea of reviewing movies that we all loved,
we decided to punish ourselves.
Yeah. So we said, what's the worst film we could find? And we all tried to submit answers. And then we did a random pick of number. And somehow we ended up on a movie called Yoga Hosers, which none of us had heard of before. And it is a Kevin Smith film that is a spin-off of Tusk, which is apparently they're going to make a trilogy eventually.
Oh yeah, eventually. It was right.
I feel like he's had his daughter in other films.
Yeah, she's been in a couple of things. I looked, but they're all Kevin Smith. This is
so like not that she wasn't a good actress.
I mean, are we diving right in? Are we diving right in?
Yeah.
Would you like to, before we start, explain the movie? Because anytime I have to explain it, I have to pull up like what someone else wrote.
She was in Tusk.
Yeah.
I don't remember her being there.
Right, no. Her character is supposed to be the same character that she's in. We've tried to explain to Stephanie how a trilogy works in an extended universe, and she's still baffled.
But I don't remember ever seeing her.
Stephanie's the only one that's seen the movie Tusk out of all three of us.
Nobody should ever see it.
But she somehow isn't remembering any of the characters.
It's basically like she
blocked it
didn't.
out of my mind. It's awful.
It's basically like she didn't see it.
Yeah, you might as well just have not seen it. So it is about two Canadian 15-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And their fight for justice
Against?
what can only be called a bratzi, which is a bratwurst Nazi.
It's a Nazi that is a bratwurst. And like, to scale. Not like a full-grown man made of bratwurst. But
which is apparently what it was intended to eventually be.
Also dumb. But and they attack the butt? Is that explained?
That's never explained. They enter through the anus and come out the mouth, snapping the neck as they come out. Never explained.
And that couldn't be the strategy because they weren't supposed to be what they are.
No.
So
but
why?
they have this little spiky helmet, so maybe they're just ready for it.
Well, that's
spiky
because
helmets.
they stole them from the beavers.
They did steal them from the beavers. I forgot about that whole loop connection thing.
That's how they explain the stolen beaver stuffies.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, This is one of those films that I feel like was so awful that I had to laugh at a lot of things.
I didn't laugh.
There were some. Okay, so where do you want to dive in?
It doesn't even matter.
Do you
man.
want to
Just go.
dissect
I
it?
know.
Do you want
I would say Cleve is much more organized than Stephanie and I.
So let me start by saying that I enjoyed everyone except them. The two girls. Everyone else I enjoyed. Everyone else I thought played well. I thought the dad was a decent character. I thought
That I never have it on.
Michael?
the
What's the name that you give him?
Alex.
the guy that played the drummer, I don't remember his name.
Ichabod.
Ichabod.
Well,
Or
real life?
Ichabod.
Oh.
real life name.
Adrian.
But
or no, Adam
Something
Brody.
yeah.
Adam Brody.
That sounds like a...
I enjoyed him because at first I was like, well, maybe when he was like playing the drums, he like took his shirt off and threw it at the girl's face. I was like, it's funny. I enjoyed the principal. I enjoyed Johnny Depp's character. I enjoyed the Nazi general guy. Everyone else but them two, and they because they're Justin Long wasn't terrible.
Justin Long was fantastic in
It
this.
was good.
He says, I don't understand why Warner Brothers doesn't want me to... This whole fight with Yogi the Bear.
And
Yeah.
then Boo Boo Bear.
And Boo Boo Bear.
Yeah. But they were so bad.
You know what? So, like, I kind of agree. So, it's weird because Harley Quinn Smith's character, they're both Colleen, so I think it's Colleen M. She had this habit of changing her character. She'd flip back and forth. She was either too dumb to understand what was going on around her, or suddenly she was a competent individual, and it was really weird, like, the flipping.
She was. And I tried to like, what does this movie remind me of, kind of, and it was like R-rated Clueless.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I enjoyed Clueless for what it was at that time. I couldn't enjoy them because Clueless was a dumb movie and a dumb premise with good actors in it, starring in it at least, and like Legally Blonde. Like, some people are good at playing that character, and maybe that's what it is because I didn't notice that she kind of flipped on and off her dumb switch.
She does the entire time.
Yeah,
I think
weird.
The weird thing is they don't take the joke far enough. Like
either make her dumb or not.
Like, they're supposed to be obsessed with their cell phones, but half the movie they don't even have them.
I was so sad Stan Lee was in this.
Oh, yeah. Stanley made a cameo, and it was kind of fantastic. I didn't see Tusk. Was he in Tusk?
She's
I don't
blocked
know.
it. She's blocked it out.
I've blocked
Now
it.
we have to go watch it. You know that, right? And together, so that we know she watched it.
I know what the movie is about, like the storyline, but I've blocked out a lot of it because it's traumatizing to my brain.
Yeah, no. Now we're gonna make her watch this.
I don't want to watch it.
I want that pen.
You want what?
I want that pen.
Grab it. Featuring. My Kiki's making that noise. She learned that from your kid. That's the grunt that he makes.
Hey, he was done doing that by the time he came back over here. Maybe she's just back into it.
But Tusk is all like body gore, and I'm not a fan.
I mean, so we're letting Cleve go through his notes first because that's the most organized way, I guess.
I'm already like in random sections of it, so.
Because otherwise, my brain just goes all over.
So yeah, Johnny Depp's daughter, Harley Quinn's daughter,
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn, Kevin Smith's wife, also in it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Who's his
she
wife?
played Colleen M's mom, like her actual mom, the
Oh,
one that gave her the date knife.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed the date knife joke. I thought that was okay. If you want, I can just run through the things that I wrote.
Yeah. Cleve takes notes. He's much more like homework driven than Stephanie and I.
It's not
My
that,
notes are all in my head.
I just don't want to forget something, so I'll just write it down as I'm watching it. At a certain point, I just wrote, "This hurts."
was that when you were watching him dig through the butthole. I appreciate that they never showed that.
No,
Because they could have.
You know what it was? Yeah, they could have. You know what it was? It's it's early. So it had to have been that opening song where like
Oh, the
she
rap?
kept messing it up and she was like, it didn't even rhyme. I was like,
But I thought that was like supposed to like show you that
Their
Colleen
characters?
M is the dumb one. So I was like, okay, so she's the dumb one and this is like the cool one. But then that's what I think what Michael meant too. Like they just keep flip flopping Colleen M.
yeah. So then I wrote John Raphael because this movie was the worst. I wrote Kevin Smith's wife. I
Your
wrote
boy's a question on the bar exam. He's one of the greatest characters of all time.
he is, which is
just-
what he's my ace in the hole when people try to tell me that The Office is better than Parks and Rec because John Raphael is just such a
His sister too, man.
yeah. Money, please. We could go on for 30 minutes before I want to get through the rest of these notes. Yoga Fett, good joke,
Yoga Fett.
solid joke. I wrote Justin Smith, not terrible.
Justin Long.
Justin Long, yeah. I wrote Long. I keep confusing everybody.
They're all Smiths or Debs.
That's right. Everybody on the film, Depths or Smiths.
I wrote Johnny Depp lost bet ?
I think he wanted to be like.
You
I
think
think
he-
so. Here's two questions.
I didn't
had
hear
for this
any
film.
story of how this developed because I didn't know about Tusk or anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
So
Tusk-
I'm like, how?
Here's my two
did you
questions
guys,
about this.
Would you
is-
guys play poker?
Is Harley Quinn and God, I can't remember her name.
Lily Rose Depp.
Lily, thank you. Are they friends in real life?
I wondered about that too.
Because if they are, this would kind of make more sense. Like we just said, we want to make a like. I was joking when I sent you, like you were saying, this is terrible. Cleve and I were texting each other while we were watching it, and at one point I was like, no, this is just a buddy cop movie with these two kids that are friends outside of the movie. Like that has to be what this is. And if that's the case, I think it was just like Johnny Depp saying, I want to be in this. Or maybe if they're not friends outside of the world, Kevin Smith's like, yeah, sure, I'll let your daughter be in this, but you got to play this character.
It looks like they are actually like best friends.
But see, it was written and directed from what I saw by Kevin Smith. So I'm like, if they came up with the idea, that would be one thing. Maybe it would have been better than letting your dad smoke a bunch of weed and then write a movie for you, because that has to be there's because it takes the drastic twist at the end with the Nazis, and that has to be what happened. We were writing a movie because
It could have been a different
part
premise.
A could have been
Oh,
its
absolutely.
own movie completely, and it might not have been that bad.
Yeah, no, I watched my wife Katie. I made Katie watch it with me, and did not show her the trailer like I showed Cleve and Stephanie. And at the first scene where you get to see Bratzi's, I can only explain it as pure terror in her face as to what we had started watching. Because it was like 15, 20 minutes in before you see them. I mean, you could have had the whole... Because at one point in time, Canadian Satanists are chopping people up and spreading them all over.
That comes out of nowhere.
You could have... That could have been the whole
left field.
story.
Straight left field. There's these two seniors that are into the girls and who are sophomores, and they invite them to a senior party, and then you find out later that's 5 minutes in. It's Hunter,
Yeah.
who's I guess the dream guy,
Yeah.
who picks, in my opinion, the lesser attractive of the two girls, but
Well, maybe that's the point.
maybe.
I mean, his goal is virgin.
He
so-
reminded me of the kid from Cobra Kai, but you didn't see all the way into Cobra Kai, so he plays Johnny Lawrence's kid.
But they're two cute girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That get invited to this senior party, and then you find out that it wasn't a senior party at all. It was these two just hanging out so that they could chop and cut their souls out.
Because they needed virgin souls.
Yes, because there's no virgins in the 12th grade, so apparently.
I'm so confused. It's because he says, "Why aren't you here yet at his house party?" But he's in the back of a warehouse somewhere?
Yeah.
Like,
he was
how
just
does he
gonna
know that they're
murder her.
not there?
No, because he invited them to come there. He gave that address. They're going to come there,
Oh.
show up, and then be murdered.
Okay, so he gave him that address. He didn't give him a real house address.
I have another page where I started writing the word aboot.
Oh my gosh, could they
Sorry
say
about
about
that.
any more?
It was the best.
Here's the
Sorry
thing.
about that.
Were any of the actors Canadian?
That's what Katie was like. Are they Canadian?
And it
because
made-
they sang "Oh Canada" at the end. Like it was like genuinely
Well,
like we
maybe
were,
it was like to appreciate that they were using
Yeah.
this land, but like, are,
None of them are
Canadian
Canadian.
are Canadians offended? Like,
No, I think they talk like that.
But,
No,
like-
I don't think
some
so.
regions.
but were they obnoxious about it?
No, I think that most Canadians know that we generally joke about that anyway. Much like I'm sure they make fun of us. Let's be honest, we say a lot of stupid stuff. But no, I don't think they went over the top. I think that's pretty like that's not things that they don't say. I don't know. When they came in and were like, it looks like a Vancouver hockey riot in here.
You know, I did enjoy the joke though, where she says something about the real world, and they're like, "This isn't the real world.
This is Canada."
I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, but like when they kept making up these obnoxious female problem signs, and then everyone walked in. Sorry about that. Sorry about
The
that.
best part was that they made it seem like it was very obvious that it was like this condescending, like, sorry about that. Because she was like, he hands her, the girl hands this guy a pack of cigarettes, and he's like, I asked for light, and she goes, sorry about that. And like, he goes, I can't believe how rude you are, and just walks off. Like, so I'm curious, like, is this a condescending thing that they're saying when they say this?
Did you realize that was Kevin Conroy?
No, I did not.
The voice of the Batman animated series?
No.
Yeah. So, check that off my notes. Because I was like, God, this guy, I can't remember who he is. But yeah, he's the voice of Batman from Batman the Animated Series.
And they just throw
Why
that
is he in
scene
it?
in there, so I was like, he's got to be
Kevin
somebody
Smith.
that
Right,
He's
right.
like, they just throw a scene in there.
Kevin
it's a
Smith,
useless
how many
scene.
favors did we call him?
A lot.
So the singing montage. Okay, so we go back to Colleen C's house. I'm gonna just start saying Colleen Smith and Colleen Depp. We started going to Colleen Depp's house, and we meet her dad, who's an interesting character who I enjoy. And then we get
He's in
his girlfriend.
Arrested Development.
Yeah. Then we get his girlfriend, who's from American
Orange is the New
Pie.
Black.
Oh, well, we know him for different things, but
Oh, yeah, she is an American Pie.
yeah, that's all I could.
What did you say?
Orange is the New Black.
That's all I could remember her from.
Oh, see, I was remembering her from Orange is the New Black, but then I was like, oh, American Pie.
Katie brought something else up that she was in.
She's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not like a low.
She's in quite a few things.
That's another thing too. This surrounding cast is not low-level actors and actresses. These are like
Good Burger.
These are like
She's in
Kevin
the Good
Smith's-
Burger.
These are Kevin Smith's friends. He's like, you doing anything this weekend? We're filming a movie.
Is that what Katie brought up, or is that what you just
No, that's
remembered?
what
Okay.
Hey, The Good Burger is a quality movie that we watch often in this household.
I can believe that. So then they go back. The dad and girlfriend go to the room to have. She hit that Mariah Carey note.
Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey.
They go back to the room, and the girls start to play the piano and sing.
Babe by Styx, and it was the best.
And I wrote down singing montage. Is it serious? Question mark. Because there was nothing funny about. The dad acted funny, and he was like, "Oh, I used to sing that to her when she was a baby," and like it messed up the mood. But
They're definitely using it to manipulate
Yeah, I
him.
think that was the purpose of it.
but like
I think they were trying to ruin the sex.
I saw it as a scene to show off that these two could sing. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what they were doing, but trying to do it in a weird, funny way.
Yeah, I saw it as she was like, "Don't close the door," and she knew he was going to close the door anyway, so she was playing a song she knew would ruin sex.
Because they try to sing it again when he's leaving through the car window.
Yeah, but that was comical. This one was like they were. It had a feel of like Look what we can all. We're a triple.
Maybe-
almost like we're a triple threat. Watch
So maybe
us.
that's what this trilogy is just like a giant reel tape for her to show like other
Talents
people. Like, look, I can do things.
backfired.
Hey, you pretend like you're fighting against Bronzies and sell it, because they sold the hell out of it.
I'm getting there. PE yoga, is that real?
I mean, it's Canada.
I know in Japan it is.
I don't. That's why I don't know.
I mean, I know in Japan they do.
It's
So
a-
that's potentially.
Because it was like PE class.
Yeah,
Maybe they're just making fun of Canada.
Maybe. Also,
like they're soft.
What?
They're
yeah.
soft.
Johnny Depp's disguise was spot on. And I loved
He
it.
did, yeah. Much like it was reminiscent of Tom Cruise's in Tropic Thunder.
And it made me think of, too, remember in 21 Jump Street where Johnny Depp was in it? And, like, you're looking at this guy and you have no... Like, not everybody does costume so
Yeah.
well. And maybe it's because he changes his personality so much. There was a slight Jack Sparrow in there, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was really well done. Did you enjoy the movie Moles? Did you notice it?
Yeah.
Yes.
One time.
I think it happens in Tusk.
No, I just.
He had like, at one point he had like a couple, and then he had like 10 on his face.
And one time there was one in the middle of his forehead, and I was like, I feel like I would have noticed that, and then it was on his nose. Which is also a funny thing to do. I mean,
When he was in Tusk, it took me a solid minute to realize it was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that's what I meant about the Tom Cruise thing. Like, I remember getting to the end of Tropic
And
Thunder and
not
like,
realizing it was
who
him.
was that? And all of a sudden it's like, Tom Cruise is in it. I was like, no, I need to know who Tom Cruise was. Yeah, had I not seen Johnny Depp's name at the beginning of the film, I probably wouldn't have known.
You know what's funny is I out the gate was like, that's Kevin Smith's daughter. But the other one, I was like, this has to be someone else's kid.
Yeah, I
that's
had to
why
go
this
look it
happened.
up.
And then when I saw Johnny Depp, I was like, okay, this has to be his. Why else are we in this movie? Johnny
Yeah,
Depp.
Derek had to tell me that Johnny Depp's daughter was in it too. I was like, what? She is?
I did not look up her background, if she was in a lot of things or not.
I didn't look it up either. I wonder if it was partly why we based it in Canada was so we could show off her ability to speak French. Because her mother's a French model.
I thought that
In the
too.
middle of the interview, why did she just randomly start speaking French?
I thought that too. I was like, okay, we pulled that out. Canadian Idol joke, bad joke. That joke did not land for me. You remember that joke?
Yeah.
It hit dead air.
Nothing's worth the
Crickets. Crickets.
Canadian.
Canadian Idol. Best character by far to me was the principal.
Invincible? Principal Invincible?
She was hilarious to me, and she was like,
She was funny.
She was like, and we gave her such a good role, and it was all of 5 minutes. But then she was like, you poor thing. She was like, you really are going through. We should write a movie about what you're going through. She was like, what is it? 12 years private school student. And they were like, yeah. And she was like, no. Do you see what I did there, where I compared your life to slavery? You're fine.
Because I'm black. This is awkward now.
Yeah, I thought she did a really good part.
The dad was my favorite, I think.
I think the whole movie could have just been the first half of that movie.
The dad was hilarious.
I wrote that everyone could act. I checked to see how much time it was, about 38 minutes in. Yeah, I got to the murder guys and I was like, what?
That's where it all started to doing like.
Because I was like,
whoa.
okay, the twist is that there's bratwurst Nazis, and I know that because I watched the trailer. And then these guys were like, I'm gonna murder them, and I was like, well, hold on, how do we have time for you guys if we have bratwurst murdering Nazis? I also wrote White Chicks 2 ?
So, what was the point in them? Because, like, if they died right
the
away,
boys?
yeah. There was no point.
So that the girls could go to jail for being serial killers, which apparently is how you become serial killers. Is just,
Also,
Which, speaking of which, they never just debunked that. So,
what?
the serial killer thing. Like, there was never, like, they just escaped jail.
Well, but then they had the brat proof.
I don't.
Well, you find an underground Nazi layer, I think I'm cleared.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair.
That feels fair.
That's fair.
And then whatever the golem suit, I think also takes me off the hook.
Yeah, that was rough. The goalie golem.
Oh, well, the guys had to die so that they could make the goalie golem suit.
Right, but we didn't need them to be Canadian Satanists that were murdering virgins.
I know. I'm trying to make sense of a movie that makes literally no sense.
They could have been talking and then almost had a kiss, and it could have been the same thing because they were face to face. They could have just been nice guys.
Well, and like, here's the thing: is that originally I was like, oh, so here's the twist to it: is that like this whole time I was assuming the Bratwursts were going to be the ones who were cutting people up into little pieces, and like all of a sudden maybe the Bratwursts are like not bad.
Maybe they're killing the serial killers.
You thought the Nazis were.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna come up. No, I just meant like maybe they're not supposed to be like necessarily the villain in this. I don't know. Yeah, no matter how I
feel like they took every joke that they thought was funny and shoved it into a movie and then didn't go far enough with any of it.
But the murdering guys aren't funny.
No, they weren't funny. None of it was. Like,
it wasn't funny. It wasn't clever. It's like you take out the bratwurst Nazi thing, and this could have been its own thing. They could have been fighting off Satanists, and it would have just. I don't know, man.
Just think we could have watched Emo the musical.
I laughed at the.
I think I'll make us watch that next.
I hate musicals so much.
I know. That's partly what made it great for you.
I chuckled at the Just Us leak.
I did like that one.
There's a point where I wrote comedy ? Horror ? Action ?
I think it's listed as a comedy thriller.
I saw a horror comedy.
Yeah, horror comedy. Yeah, it was like thriller comedy.
But I was like that. But that tells you something when I'm watching it. And I'm like, I don't know what you want to be.
But it's not a horror comedy other than the goalie golem.
Oh, online it's listed as a horror comedy.
There's nothing scary about it other than how bad.
But I can't think of any other horror comedies. Like I think of the scary movie, not scary movie. Scary movie.
The parodies.
Yeah. But were those scary? Or were they horror? I guess I should say. You know what I mean? They were just comedies.
They were just like parody of horror movies.
And what makes it a horror comedy? Is it because there's blood? Because I don't think we got blood.
There's a lot of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut everywhere. I couldn't tell that that's what that was.
I didn't know. Yeah, until I said it, I was like, "Is this cheese? Is it?"
You know why? Because we didn't have the money for the budget. Because at that point, could we not have bought sauerkraut?
Because Kevin Smith's got a lot of money.
Could we? How much? I took a screenshot of how much we put into this movie, and how much we got back. I'll get to that in a minute.
Probably put more.
Did this go to theater?
No, it went to a festival.
No, okay, thank God.
The brat killing scene wasn't terrible.
Oh, it was the best. When she put him in the microwave and he said Avita Zane and then blew up. I laughed for a solid like 2 minutes.
And then when they brought the yoga into it and like, but I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, when they said that, I had to explain to Katie that was a reference to Clerks.
That joke hurt me. Because you didn't have to do it. You were being... It was a cheeky... Like, I could never get into the movie because they kept taking me out of it.
Yeah. They referenced Clerks at the end, too.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I assumed that what we did was we gave our daughters 2 sticks and said, swing them around and we'll just put the bratwurst where we need to. Because they're like...
When she slid with the 2 and then slammed in the freezer, too. Like, there was some moments in there that I enjoyed. I enjoyed watching them kill the Bratzies, and then they came out of the...
They
came out of the convenience store, and, like, there were very obviously pieces of bratwurst that were in there. So, like, you should have been able to, as a cop, been like, this is weird.
Well, and then Johnny Depp's character found some.
Yeah.
What are Canadian cops good for if they're not going to find the bratwurst?
Well, that was kind of Johnny Depp's point.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you? That's who you really need to ask is how does the RCMP feel about this whole thing? Like how is the Canadian Police Department like? These guys just keep making fun of us.
Yeah, it was yeah. I mean, I feel like we've made fun of the whole nation, but yeah. Yeah, but the yoga way, the fight scene, the everything besides I'm not supposed to be here today. I thought that whole little section was okay, and then it had the girl power fighting song. Like that was like the small gym. That could have been the trailer, and I might have been like, oh, this might be good.
Could it have been Could you have spliced the trailer for Sausage Party and this and then?
Yes. Also, I thought to myself when I saw that part, I was like, okay, if we're killing them all, there's 40 minutes left. What are we going to do in 40 minutes? Like, where do we go from here?
Go into a
I thought we
secret
killed
lair.
them all. Right.
And listen to a guy do voice acting.
Hey, every one of his impressions was
Those
spot on.
impressions were amazing.
Spot on. Every impression.
I'm actually curious how he did all of that. Like, did he actually do all of those?
Some people do impressions, Stephanie.
I mean, they're good.
I do impressions and they're damn good.
I enjoy how much Johnny Depp enjoyed.
And he was like, he's playing the
But he's
Batman.
playing, yeah, right. That's the original Batman. No. Where's the trigger?
Where's the trigger, Joker?
He's like, they never said that line to the Joker. Where's the trigger?
And right before they did that, I'm like, they're going to do Christian Bale's Batman. They're going to do Christian Bale's
Of
freaking
course,
Batman.
They're young. It's the only Batman.
I feel like
I
they're
know.
too young for Christian Bale's Batman.
They're 15, so yeah. That's Batflick's all they know. It's not a terrible life, I guess.
No.
You're getting
The background story to how this all became to be a thing, I was like, I can buy that. Okay, fine, fair enough. If there's any way that that's gonna happen, yeah, I guess this is it.
Haley Joel Osment hates.
So here's my thing with Haley Joel Osment. Does he purposely pick the douchiest roles ever? Because every time he gets a character, he's horrible. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Future Man.
No.
He is such an asshole in this movie. And, like, he's just a terrible person in everything he's in. Except for, I guess, Sixth Sense. And potentially, I'm pretty sure he's the voice in Kingdom Hearts. I think he's Sora.
Yeah, because he was in The Boys. Where he was a piece
a
of
douchebag there. Yeah, he's just a shitty human being in all these.
You know why, man? When you're a kid actor like that, you get a reputation, and that's what he's going with.
Well,
now.
I could see someone like Anakin Skywalker, the actor that did Anakin Skywalker, getting those roles because that's all you're going to get.
Yeah.
Haley Joel Osment wasn't a terrible actor.
What about Pay It Forward?
I don't remember that movie.
That's when someone does something nice just out of kindness of their heart.
Well, no, I know that's
And
the
then
concept
they're
of
like,
paying it
pay it
forward.
forward. Well, you said you don't know the movie.
Yeah, I just didn't know the movie.
He's also
Well,
in
that's what the movie
Secondhand
is.
Lions.
Oh.
But he's kind of a...
The movie is
Jerky
like
kid in there,
the
too.
kid makes it up like a project. He goes, I'm gonna go do something nice for 3 people, and I'm not gonna take anything from them. And then those 3 people will go do something nice for 3 people, and it's like a kindness pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
But that's the premise of the movie, which is I'm sure where that phrase came from, or sparked the popularity of the phrase. Which
Is Haley
was
Joel Osment,
Pay It
is he
Forward.
actually Canadian?
No idea.
He's in a movie called Cab to Canada.
Yeah. He's in Future Man and he's a...
I cracked up. This is my purest laugh. Was when he was filling the golem with the bratwurst. And he brings a little ramp out and he's like, come on, my children. And then he goes, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the... And like the bratwurst are like dancing up the thing. It's such a stupid joke, but it was like, it fit perfectly. It made me think of those old movie theater commercials, and it was the best.
The whole movie was comedic gold. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was not.
You know it not to be true, and that's the problem. In credit,
It was as entertaining as Dude, Where's My Car?
right. No, that is a fact.
Yep, I'll agree with that one.
End credit, Oh Canada, playing the song, showing off our skills one more time. Kinda.
Singing in French.
Where did the bulldog come from?
I believe that's Johnny Depp's, or like their family's bulldog. I was saying, when they came on, I'm like, Kitty, I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture of this dog at some point with Johnny Depp, so.
But it
So
wasn't in the whole movie.
Yeah, no, I think it was just like an end credits, like, we're just having fun, here's my dog.
I guess. Because then she just stopped singing and she's like dancing with the
Yeah.
dog. And the dog's like,
But you never go to Colleen M's house. She could have it there.
Sure.
they were at the store. Because they were performing with the drummer.
No, I know, she's saying,
But you never
we've
went
never
to that
gone to that
house.
house, so we don't know if she had a
We
dog
did go
there.
to both houses.
When did you go to Colleen M's house?
Or was it the store? Whenever they met Colleen's mom. They were at
It
some
was
sort
at
of
some.
fast food place.
Yeah, it was
No,
like
yeah,
her
where she
work.
was working.
Yeah. And the last thing I wrote, besides their actual performance songs, soundtrack wasn't terrible. All the girl power fighting. Did you enjoy that final fight scene?
Yes. I loved
With
that
the
one.
Batman pals
Yeah.
and the yoga moves and
Yeah, I was
And-
on board.
I enjoy a lot of those yoga moves. Three-legged dog. Look at the poor three-legged dog.
Two-legged dog on a scooter.
I'm glad that they made one joke actually carry through the movie.
Yes.
The only joke they made carry through the movie.
And at the end, all I could think to myself is, so what is yoga hoser? Is it an insult?
So
oh,
hoser
is an insult. I
yeah.
was taught this by Derek.
Yeah, hoser is an insult towards Canadians.
Okay.
It's just kind of slang for a Canadian. Like, yeah.
Like the person who has to hose down the ice.
Yankee?
Kind of. Because I feel
I'm
like
trying to
they
think of the
use it
equivalent.
now. This is like Canuck. Like, Canuck is also a kind of like, it used to be slang against Canadians, and I feel like they just use it now. Because they're just so easy going. Yeah. But, so no, that's what, okay,
A
so.
foolish or uncultivated person.
There you go.
So an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you watch the whole credits, at the very end, you hear Kevin Smith on his podcast talking to some guy that called in from Canada and was saying something about, basically they're like, a yoga hoser is kind of like what we call like a hippie or like a yuppie or like a,
Gotcha.
like they're like the vegan type of like,
Yeah.
I do yoga and drink kombucha and stuff like that. And so, like, anyway, he called in and was like, oh, yeah, just a bunch of yoga hosers. And Kevin Smith just started cracking up and loved the phrase so much that that's why he named the whole movie that.
You need more to make a movie than a name.
No, man, you got Bratzies.
I just wish it was.
I asked Derek where I had heard hoser so many times before. I was like, there's another movie called Hoser or something. And he's like, no. And then he's like, well, in Strange Brew, they do nothing but call everyone a bunch of hosers.
She said that like we know whatever she's talking about.
I just nodded.
I know you did.
It's a Canadian movie, or makes fun of Canada. I don't know. It's a funny movie.
Have you ever
though.
watched Letterkenny?
Derek and I started watching Letterkenny.
How do you feel about that?
I enjoy it a lot.
Kitty won't watch it with me anymore, so I have to stop watching it with her.
I enjoy it so much. It's so
It's
dumb.
weird. It's really dumb and really weird. Did you ever watch Trailer Park Boys? Because that's exactly what it reminds me of.
No, I never watched that.
So the movie recap is two 15-year-old yoga enthusiasts join forces with the legendary Manhunter to battle Canadian Nazis who take the form of deadly hostages.
Yep, that's about what we just said.
It came out in the 2016 Sundance Film Festival. It is 88 gruesome minutes long. And
You say gruesome. You enjoyed it.
would I recommend it to anybody? No.
Yes.
No.
Everybody
No.
should have to watch it.
I wouldn't.
Have to. That's what you're saying.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say if
I know
someone
what I
said,
said.
I want to watch movies, should I watch Yoga Hosers? I'd say, no, it's a waste of time.
No.
You're doing it to punish people. You
It
have
has 2 stars
you
on it.
have
There
a
were some redeemable qualities throughout the film.
you have an obligation to this podcast to give an honest review.
Would you watch it again? Would you go downstairs and watch it again?
If I was drunk or high, maybe.
No.
So it's no then.
No,
Because
I
when's
mean,
the last time we've been able to do any of those things?
right, forever.
The budget. Okay, so box. I'll give you the box office first because that's funnier. 38,784. Right? Would anybody like to take a swing at the budget? If you know it, don't say anything. But anybody.
12 million.
What? So that's how much it made was 38,000.
That's the box office numbers.
500,000.
5 million.
Why? Why spend that much money
I
on
imagine,
that?
whole unfairness, I imagine you paid Johnny Depp a pretty penny.
I guess they did have a.
Your daughter's in it. You should be taking a cut, like a small cut. This is like when sports teams want to re-sign a player and they're like, hey, give us the the home team discount. Like, you're part of it. We're putting your kid in it, and she can't act. You take a pay cut.
I did look up Lily Rose Depp. She's been in a couple of movies. Not anything I've ever heard of, but she's been in a couple.
Yeah, no, I don't imagine it's anything.
But you made a sliver. What you could have taken this $5 million and bought everyone on set a car, and still had money left over.
Why
Do you think they used all their budget on their special effects?
I think on the goalie golem.
You think so?
So here's my thing. He kept referencing 80s movies. And when he took it off, like the cover off of it, I thought it was a sculpture of the Predator, and I was so pumped. And it ended up being...
No,
Kinda.
I kind of looked like the Predator. But much
It also
more
reminded me of.
movie.
You remember the Mighty Ducks cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I enjoyed it when they punched it. Little bratwurst came out, and the pow, boom.
How'd you feel about it, Stephanie?
The movie?
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Did you like it better than Hunt for the Wilder People?
No, I love Hunt for the Wilder People. I honestly watched it and I was like, I need Cleve to watch this. I need Cleve to tell me if Michael is crazy.
So apparently, Jennifer Smith, who is Kevin Smith's wife, reprises her role as Missy McKenzie from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You remember Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Okay,
I don't remember Miss McKenzie.
This is how I knew, or this is how I just started looking into it. Do you remember Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Do you remember Elizabeth Olsen and the van, and all the girls were really young, and then there was one that was a bit older.
Oh, yeah.
That's Kevin Smith's wife. And it's not like, oh, she's unattractive or anything, but like they are early 20s. And then she's like 30. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, why? How did she get in this? But that was also Kevin Smith's wife.
You know what? Like, props to you for like being like, hey, get in these movies. But I would tell you, okay,
Is it props?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If you're making things and your family wants to be in things, let them be in them.
That's how this movie happened.
What I was just gonna say is, so here's a question I have for you: do we have rose-tinted glasses on when we look at Kevin Smith films because of who Kevin Smith is?
Like if this wasn't a Kevin Smith movie.
Like, I remember Clerks 1. I remember being an enjoyable film, but I don't know that it's one I would go back and watch again. Clerks 2 had 2 or 3 quotable moments, and then I don't know that I would ever go back and watch that again.
Here's the thing. Here's how I feel about all of Kevin Smith's movies. I enjoy Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
That's the end of
I was to say, because Chasing Amy, I really disliked. I thought it was super depressing.
But you also get in that mindset with movies sometimes. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, true. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was good. It was a good film.
I watched that movie.
I remember being ripped out of that theater at the age of 10 when I convinced my mom, yes, this is the movie I want to see.
Did you go back and watch it?
Not until like 4 or 5 years later.
I will say that is one of Kevin Smith movies that I've watched multiple times. Even the beginning.
But and
kids.
And I think that it's the relationship between Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith that is enjoyable.
Yes.
So that's my question to you, though, is like, so all these other films before it, and then after we have Tusk, which apparently, according to Stephanie, was awful. We just watched
So bad.
Yoga Hosers, which is not great. Had some redeemable moments, but not great. All of his films, I feel like, are that. Every one of his films, I could almost say is just like how we reviewed this film, where I watched the whole thing and I was like, okay, I don't really like Mallrats. Again, and I'm sure someone's out there going to be really upset when I say this. Mallrats was okay.
Mallrats has a big following to it.
Right, all of his films.
I think that Clerks 1 and Mallrats are probably his two biggest films because they spoke to a certain group of people and they keep it alive.
I would consider myself to have grown up as a mall rat, and I didn't again, it was an okay film.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there were redeemable moments. It was good in some aspects, but it wasn't like, I'm not like, man, I own Mallrats so I can watch it as many times as I want.
I own Jay and Silent Bob and I watched
do.
it a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like,
and that's what I'm saying. I enjoy those two. Those two to me, because Jason is so ridiculous, and Kevin Smith does nothing but does facial expressions, and their dynamic together, to me, they're my favorite part of all the movies.
Yeah.
That's why Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back to me was so big,
it
because
was just them.
I was like, finally, I'm getting a movie with, and apparently I remember watching, because I had like a double disc of that movie, and I remember Kevin Smith was like, "You guys want a movie with the potheads?" And they were like, "Oh my god, yes!" Like, that's who we want. And apparently they are exact opposites of their characters. Like,
I could see
Jason
that.
is super quiet and doesn't really get into anything.
because we follow
and,
him on Instagram, and I feel like anytime he posts, it's very like,
Yeah, and Kevin Smith is talking shit all the time and super like in everybody's face. But Jason, there's a scene where like he's dancing in front of one of the clerk stores, and Kevin Smith said they had to clear the set because he was embarrassed to do it in front of people. But like that's what I'm saying. They're enjoyable.
Right.
Their interactions
Oh,
are
absolutely.
enjoyable.
Their
And as soon as I
connection
saw him, I was like,
right.
but I could do
And they're
without all
real
your other
friends in real
world.
life, and they have a relationship together in real life, and I think that also makes them
Also, Dogma.
okay. Might be the only exception because I love Dogma. Dogma was, and you're right. Yeah, that was a movie I watched many times,
Because the concept was just great, and the
and
storyline
it
was
feels
great.
different than everything else. I feel like
Yeah.
though, other than the movie.
But the only way that you know that this world is a shared universe is because Jay and Silent Bob.
yeah.
There's nothing else that really connects all these movies.
I was trying to think because he's got so speaking of which, he has the new one coming out,
Which
and
I'm
excited for.
yeah.
Trailer looked good. But yeah, no, it genuinely looks like it's going to be a good film. But that's what that's what I was asking. Like, do we have rose-colored glasses or rose-tinted glasses on? Because everybody seems to love Kevin Smith. Everybody always talks about how great Kevin Smith is and how amazing he is. And I think a lot of it is because he's a nerd that made it somewhere.
Yeah.
And he's not ever been quiet about being a nerd or a stoner or whatever. I mean, like, he's always been very proud of what he is.
He directed Zack and Miri Make a Porno. I enjoyed that one.
Really funny.
That was a good one.
I did not know he did that.
Yeah.
Although I will say, Tusk is disturbing because of the body gore to me, and I don't like body gore. Up until a certain point, it's not an unenjoyable movie. It
Well,
actually
and
has a storyline that's pretty mixed. And there's parts of it that are funny,
He
but
did
then there's
Jersey
also
Girl.
very disturbing.
I feel like Jersey Girl's straight trash.
Yeah.
But
But
it
that's
gets
what
to
I'm
a point
saying.
You're just like, oh,
I think all of his films are okay.
yeah.
Like, every film he's had, okay. There are redeemable parts. There are good parts. And then there are parts that you're like, why am I watching this film right now? And, like, that has always been, and Cleve's actually kind of given me a hard time about it before, because I think at one point in time, Keviin Smith has his own podcast, has his own YouTube channel, does all his own stuff. And there was one time where he came out with a review for something, and Cleve's like, well, did you listen to his review on, I think it was the Avengers? Yeah. And I was like, I don't listen to him anymore, because I feel like he's become so pretentious somehow. Like, I feel like this person that was supposed to be down to earth, nerdy, like he was one of us, kind of like that was why everybody loved him so much. Like has transcended from that and has now become what I hate, which is these pretentious people that are rich and know everything about everything and want to be like the. I don't know, how often is he ever in his comic book store? You watch Comic Book Men sometimes.
I don't ever see him actually in the store, but the premise of the show, I don't even know if you've watched a single episode of it. So the premise is they're in a booth, they're a studio doing the podcast, and he has all the people that work in the comic book store, and they'll say, you know, what came into the store, what happened this week, who did you see, what did you sell, what did you bring in, and it will cut to them in the store working and having conversations with what comes in and out. So he. Obviously, it's his comic book store, so he's
right
part of the show, but he's not in the cast, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. His name's on the building, but he's not in the show.
Yeah, he conversates with them when they cut to like the podcast section of it, but for the most part, it's just them working in the store.
And maybe I need to listen to his podcast or something. I don't know. Like
I've never
I just
listened
feel
to
like
it.
I feel like Keviin Smith has fallen from what I admired about him. Like, I don't think that's there anymore. I think that the same thing that happens to a lot of, and you guys are going to laugh when I start talking about this, but the same thing happens to almost every single person that ever goes from being my size to like super skinny. Mm-hmm. They suddenly get so much more confidence and change the way that they act. Like, they're no longer who they were.
Do you think his weight thing was part of it?
I think so. Or maybe his weight is part of a successful thing. Like, I see a lot of big people go from being big and like, good for you. I'm super, like, because we've talked about this before, like, just in personal conversations, like, I worry about my weight sometimes because I have a kid. I want to be alive for my kid.
Right.
So good for you to be able to turn it around. Like, that's super awesome. Proud of you. But, like, I hate seeing it change people. And I can't help but notice that I started noticing his weight loss at the same time I noticed his personality changing.
Well, I remember his weight loss being a health scare thing.
Which is very possible.
Like, I remember him like, oh my God, I almost died. And then he completely 180'd it. But I mean, I don't know. Because I don't see him taking a drastic change. Like, he doesn't do what he used to.
I just remember, like...
But does he have to do what he used to?
I guess not. And maybe... and that's why I said, so maybe it's not. Maybe I'm putting too much into it. But I just remember, like, when he used to go to conventions and he'd do, like, Q&As and stuff, like, he just seemed like...
Well, what does he have to talk to anymore?
He just seems like you and I. Like, that's back then. He was all he was talking about was like his love for comic books, his love, like what inspired him to do what he's doing. I mean, he's still making movies. Mm-hmm. He's still into comic books. He's still, is considered a valued opinion in the.
I remember he was doing a lot of work for Daredevil, like the comic.
Yeah.
But I can't. But besides that, I can't think of what he's done in a long time. But to be fair, I didn't know this turd existed.
No, but I still think he's considered revered as a like top opinion. You know what I mean? Like people go to him. Like if you and I were to sit there and go, okay, I need to go watch a review on the last Batman or the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Mm-hmm. The first person I would think to watch a review from would be Keviin Smith because he is knowledgeable in all of his. I don't know how this whole episode just turned into me talking about Keviin Smith. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
How like he's knowledgeable in almost every aspect of comic books, far superior to probably you or I, and that he had all the time in the world to read comic books apparently because he, for some reason, you and I can't find time anymore.
Here's him at San Diego Comic-Con with Jason Mewes and his daughter.
Yeah.
He can
Probably
spend,
promoting their new movie.
spend $5 million
Discussing the
in
emotional
a-
reunions on and off screen as they revisit their filmmaking roots.
I guess my point is like I watched. So when I watched that review, because I did, I went and watched the review, and I can't remember. Like I said, it was
It was Infinity
Endgame,
War.
Infinity War,
Or
and
Infinity War or Endgame, one or the other.
one of the two. And I started watching it, and I was just listening to him, and he just, I don't know. For the first time, I was like, I don't want to listen to you talk. And again, it could be me, could be on me. I've just noticed, like, you know what, the weight thing, when that came up, I don't know if I've ever talked to you about a YouTuber named Boogie2988 or something. I can't remember. His name's Boogie, is what he goes by. And he went through weight loss. He, I want to say, got the surgery. He could have been doing it naturally. I can't remember. But he's dropped like 200 pounds, 300 pounds. He went from being like 500 pounds to right around 240, 250, and has quickly shed weight. While going through that, has completely changed who he was when he was on YouTube. And I don't know if it's because you did what you had to do as a big person to try to be popular, and like suddenly you're like, I don't need to do that anymore, which could be good.
Would you categorize him in the sellout?
I don't think
phrase?
it's selling out. I think it's so.
Do you think he just
when
got
you're-
tired of doing it?
when,
Maybe.
when you're big, right? You're so used to everybody going that's your identity. Like it's much like people like that's all they see is that you're big, and so like you're not used to people giving you attention, talking to you, being attracted to you, like because big is not considered attractive, which is fine. It's my life choice that I'm like this. You and I have talked about this. I have no qualms against, like, I don't blame somebody else that I'm this way.
I don't know if I agree with the big is not attractive. It might not be the popular opinion.
Right. Okay. It's not that big's not attractive.
Yeah.
It's more that, like, women, men, whoever
Because I
looks
don't,
at
I don't
ads
like a
and
girl
they'll
that's
see-
a stick figure.
Agreed.
Yep.
No, absolutely agreed. I've dated stick figures before. No, I absolutely agree. But I think it's that, like, perception of, like, we know we're not healthy. Like, if I go to a doctor and I say, like, my arm hurts, 90% of the time, the first thing they say is, well, you really should lose weight. Like, how does that affect his arm? I don't know. But it does, apparently. So I think that you go through your whole life not getting the attention, and you blame your weight, and you blame, like, and then you eat more, like, you get depressed, and you eat more and stuff like that. And it just, the monster grows, unfortunately. And again, 100% my choice. But you stop that. All of a sudden, you're looked at differently from the whole world, and you start feeding on. So you stop. It's almost like you stop feeding on food and you start feeding on attention. And so all of a sudden you're soaking all this attention up, and you're like, I want more. I need more. And so like you just change the way that you are.
So,
But anyway, I just think that that's partly when I started seeing his attitude change, and I was just bringing up Boogie because he is a really good example, in my opinion, of someone that drastically changed who he was from when he was bigger to when he got skinnier.
do you think that maybe he just wanted to? Because, you know, some people, when they're in it for so long, and I think the only real example that comes to my mind is Dave Chappelle. Like, you're in it, and then you're like, you know what? I just don't want to be in it anymore. Because I'm looking at the what he's directed and, like, been in and stuff, and, like, he's been in a couple things, but directed, it's like, I think this movie might have been one of the last ones.
Yeah, and assume it's gotta be.
He did a couple of episodes of Flash and Supergirl. He did a couple of episodes of the Goldbergs. And then he's got this reboot coming up.
He did the Goldbergs?
He also did Cop Out with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. Just so you know. But
just wanted to kind of get out of the niche that you're in.
maybe.
Yeah, no, and that's why I said I could be reading into it's one person's opinion. Like
Yeah.
and it's only what I think I've observed. But at the same time, you could absolutely be right. And I've never experienced that. Like, I've never gone through that drastic transformation. And perhaps when I do, suddenly I would be like, I don't, and you might be absolutely right that, like, I've always been my personality because, like, that's how I cope with a lot of things. like I'm overly happy. Like I make people feel uncomfortable sometimes. Like I'll joke like, "Oh no, it's because I'm fat." Like, haha. And I think it's funny. It makes people uncomfortable. Cleve makes fun of me for it. But like I've always been this way because that's just kind of how I've coped with being bigger and how I can deal with it. And so yeah, maybe if I were to go through a transformation like that, then all of a sudden I'd be like, I don't want to be that person anymore, and I want to be me. And maybe this is them. I don't know.
And I need us to watch a movie that doesn't make you conscious of your weight.
No, I'm not conscious. Well, that's just it. Like I'm super comfortable about. Like the only time I've ever been like concerned about my weight is my kid.
No, I'm just saying like the Wilder people, and then this
The
you're
people
like
they just kept making fat jokes. This one was just me talking about Kevin Smith.
And let me tell you about Kevin Smith.
No,
He had 3 lines.
No, I know. I guess, like I said, no. But you're right. I don't know how. I always turn it to what I know.
Maybe not self-consciously. Subconsciously, you're
Jealous.
No.
And you're afraid you'll change.
Maybe you're more sensitive to it than you think you are.
Possibly. I've always shielded myself from like I got made fun of as a kid all the time.
When you look a certain way or have an appearance about you, coming from someone who is half Mexican and half black,
and I never bring that up because you can't change that and I can. You know what I mean? Like that's why that's why immediately like the first thing I say is like this is my choice. Like I know I put myself here.
But it's like it's appearance. Somebody looks at you and goes, "This is what I think," and then that is the end of that.
That's like when you have a fart in a room. I'm gonna tell you right now, they always look at me. It doesn't matter. I have trained myself to never fart in public.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fart around
every time, all the time. I'm telling you, we'll be in an elevator and someone will fart and everybody looks at me and like, fat guy. And I'm like, man, I can't even tell you. Like, I don't eat like half the day.
I'm gonna take advantage of this.
I think I eat like I may eat breakfast and then I eat dinner and that's
like,
it. I'm not even playing.
And then I'm gonna go.
So there's someone in my office that farts every day, right? Mm-hmm. Every day.
You know who you are.
Right.
To watch it?
Like horrible farts. Every time. Another coworker comes up to me and goes, "Hey, are you feeling okay?" And like I know it's because she smells the farts and she's like, "This guy's got something wrong in his tummy." I promise you, it ain't me.
Why don't you rat him out?
No. You know why? Because I've lived my whole life. Like it's always been that. Like if someone smells, it's probably me. If there's a fart, it's me. Like people have this perception of like, or like people would have food and be like, "Do you want my leftovers?" Like, no, I don't want your leftovers.
And you know,
like I picked exactly what I want to eat. I don't need your food too.
I will say too, you say that it's your choice, but you've also talked to me about like, hey, I've done different diets as people have done. And I've worked out other ways. People that said they worked out, and it just
so I'm at my point where
there are people that can eat the exact same thing that you'll eat and look like a twig.
My brother.
So,
but he takes weight care.
But not even just him. There's people out there that eat like monsters.
Oh no, for sure.
And hold what weight they hold. I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, and yes, I have tried. At my point right now, I'm my heaviest, but there have been times where yes, I've done juicing. I've done extreme measured stuff, like to where doctors like you probably shouldn't do this because you're used to taking this many calories.
Your body, the body shock, yeah,
right. Yeah, no, I've done all kinds of crazy
your
stuff.
Metabolism too. Also, we're 30.
I've done crazy things trying to like change it, and
maybe
I
you
got
jacked
to
with your metabolism, and it was like
shut down.
Like there was like hidden switches.
No, like
what's going on out there?
Like at one point in time, I think I was like 24, probably like 23, 24. And at that point, I realized that like I either just had to be happy with where I'm at or be miserable the rest of my life doing the stuff that I hated. Because like juicing, I showed results. Mm-hmm. Like, when I say juicing, like I mean I drink 60 ounces of nothing but bok choy, carrots, and cucumber, all juiced constantly. That's all I did. And then I took supplements like vitamin, all day vitamin, whatever, the one pill you have to, one a day. Those 3, one a day, and some water. And I think water, I got like 4 bottles of water a day or something like that. And I showed results. Like I lost probably in 4 months, I lost probably like 30 pounds. And so like there were results, but I was like, I hated my life. I would find points in time where like I'd black out because I just don't remember what was happening.
People and you get real pissy and yeah, no, I know. Maybe you You should look into yoga.
Man, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, real talk. I don't know about anybody else in this room. I did yoga
Yeah, no, I remember
for
when you were doing it.
a couple months. Like, I say a couple, but like 6-7 months. And I definitely was way more flexible than I was, and my back felt great because there's just stretching that you get with these poses that you don't get in
Yoga
regular
is
life.
hard.
It is, and I did hot yoga, and I tried to be that tough guy because of the MMA training and stuff. Where I'm like, I'm gonna go in there with my hoodie, and I was like 2 minutes. I was like, nope, this is dumb. Take it off, take it all off. I want to be naked. Can I do this naked?
Derek and I did hot yoga, and it was. Derek liked it, and I was just like, I can't. It
I
smells
loved
like
it.
sweat. I am miserable.
Yeah,
this
but
is hot.
I'm good with the sweat.
There's some other-
I live my life that way.
I
When you,
couldn't.
well,
Derek loved
when
it,
you
though.
played baseball, football, really any of those.
Any
things,
locker
like,
room.
Yeah. It's pretty used to that smell.
The combined spell of 15 boys. Yeah.
God. Maybe that's why Derek was okay with it. You guys would just grow up with that gross smell.
Oh man, middle school and high school locker rooms were the worst.
And then keep in mind, because I think it's safe to say that all boys go through a stage where they're like, I don't need a shower.
Man,
I'm good.
in middle school and high school, like so many people were like, I think it's embarrassed or just weirded out by being naked around other guys.
Well, I mean, because it's weird.
If you got a shower, you got a shower. Like I used to be in the shower first thing. I'm like, nope, I don't care. But yeah, no, in middle school they never offered showers though.
I think it's
High
too
school,
early of an age.
yeah, high school they definitely did, and I
Middle school
absolutely
when
took
you
advantage
need
of
to
that.
offer showers.
But
I used to go to school with a guy who he wouldn't shower, and instead of putting on like more deodorant, he put on cologne. And I don't know.
Isn't that where Axe, like that's where Axe
Axe-
I don't
becomes
know,
popular?
but I don't. I will. It had to have been like 6th grade maybe, but BO and cologne create this monster that punches you in the face repeatedly until you die or leave the room.
I played baseball with a guy that refused to use deodorant because it blocked toxins into your, like it kept toxins in your body. So he used like all natural methods. It didn't help, and it was rough.
Was it Matthew McConaughey? Did you go to school with Matthew McConaughey?
I didn't go to school with Matthew. I went to school in California. Wasn't he here?
I don't know, man. I don't keep up with his bio. It was more of a joke because he's
Oh, is he?
no, because he said he doesn't wear deodorant. That his natural smell isn't smelly, and I was like, no.
You know what?
There are
Here's the
some
thing.
people who sweat in different
If you,
places.
well, I was just say, if you're not active in the day and you take a shower every day, you might be able to pass. I think you could pass. Like, if we just sat around all
you
day
sat
and
like
didn't do
this?
anything,
Oh.
right? But yeah, if you didn't do anything all day,
but then you have to like not eat like garlic and things like that because that stuff sweats out of you.
True. Or drink.
Where do you sweat most out of?
My
You get one.
no. My head.
Your head?
Absolutely. So
Your
when I used
face?
to, when I used to be
Or
a
the top of
chef,
your head,
like when I
or-
used to cook and stuff, like I had to have 2 bandanas wrapped around my head because I would just profusely sweat. Like no matter what I'm doing, I'm profusely sweating from here, and it always looks really bad because I'm just drenched. No matter what, it could be 10 degrees outside.
And then you're the big guy sweating in people's food.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every time, man. I'm telling you, the big guy thing comes back a lot. But
To
anyway,
be fair, yeah. If I look at you and you're just
drenched
dripping
in sweat.
sweat, I'm like, hey,
You remember
can that
the-
guy not cook my?
You remember
quesadilla?
that? You made fun of Good Burger. Remember the Good Burger with a big white guy in the back that just grunts a lot? Like that's what it looked like. Anyway,
What was the character that just like sweat like profusely all the time?
There's so many characters that did
all
that.
that?
Yeah, it wasn't all that.
I do remember, but I don't remember his name.
Stephanie, where do you sweat the most?
Probably my armpits. I sweat a lot.
Cool. I think my feet will sweat more than any other part of me.
I do have to go barefoot immediately. Like as soon as I get home, I'm like socks, shoes off, everything off.
My feet are constantly cold, but I hate wearing shoes.
It's a gruesome circle.
This is a weird turn of events. But anyways,
Well, I had to try to make it positive somehow, so I was like, where do you sweat? Tell us where you sweat down below.
don't tell us if you sweat down below.
Tell us down below.
He's making fun of me for 30 episodes. Or
I don't think Stephanie still doesn't know.
For a lot of episodes, we have posted the end credits that Michael made me, and apparently I misspelled the word below. And by the time I get towards the end, I'm like, okay, I'm done watching the episode and end it. And apparently,
I've noticed it a couple times, but I thought you would just fix it next time. And then there's sometimes where I just don't get to the end credits because I'm like, okay, don't watch the episode. Goodbye.
Yeah, but I was editing and I was like, I'll just snip what Michael's used and put that in there. And so I did, and I put it in. And I was like, wait a minute, what?
So go ahead and comment down below. If you guys have seen Yoga Hosers, what your favorite part was from that.
Give us a review of Tusk.
If you haven't seen Yoga Hosers, let us know what your favorite Kevin Smith movie was. And let us know if you disagree or agree with anything that Michael said. You guys generally do disagree with me a lot. I get hate email that's really the only email I do get is hate email. So if you could send me like kind words, I'd appreciate it.
To friendship.supreme@gmail.com.
You can also reach us at any of our social medias, which are all Friendship Supreme.
That feels good.
Yeah. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve.
That's Stephanie.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.